And I'm Nicholas.
And we're the Future Judds.
This is a podcast all about our likes, dislikes, and loves.
And us just
talking.
Today we are talking about Disney. Honestly, a fave of both of ours. In very different ways.
More me.
Of course, there's really not going to be a bigger Disney fan than you.
No, the Judds. I don't know about me. I think my family has me beat some, or Heather and my mom probably have way more Disney love than I do.
That's fair. Well, again, thank you guys so much for the love you've been showing for the podcast. Last week was a lot of fun for me to get to talk about. An update, I watched the Friends reunion, and it was all I could want and more. I've now watched it twice. It's been 1 week.
Yeah.
I'll very likely watch it again.
Probably.
I did cry both times.
That's great. I'm glad that you still cried at
Yeah.
it.
Of course. Not in the same parts, though.
Well,
we switched it up.
That's good.
Yes. But it was wonderful, and I hope I didn't scare everyone off with my love for Friends. But anyways, so today we're going to be talking about Disney. So it seems like we were on a little bit different pages in preparation for this.
We had different childhoods growing up as well.
That's fair. We don't live together, so we're not together when we prep for each podcast each week. We're doing the podcast in Nick's apartment, but we don't prep for it together.
No, and we were confused on if you were doing top 10 Disney movies and shows, or top 5 movies and top 5 shows.
There wasn't confusion because I asked you yesterday, what's the podcast about tomorrow? You said top 10 favorite
Disney
movies and shows. And I was like, okay, I'll divide it because I figured you probably wouldn't have as many shows, but you don't have any shows.
Because I didn't watch Disney shows. I grew up with no cable. I watch PBS, and that is not Disney.
Therefore, so our lists are a little different than we kind of planned for going into the podcast this week. So that just makes sense for us, though, because, like you said, we grew up very different.
Yeah.
So I have my top 5 Disney movies and my top 5 Disney Channel shows. And I do have honorable mentions in both categories.
I do not really. I have plenty that I could have done, but
I wrote mine down.
They're written down. I just don't have the paper with me.
Well, we'll start with you. Why don't you tell us, is it in descending order?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's start with number 10 for me is the first movie we ever watched together.
Coco.
Coco, released in 2017. This movie is absolutely gorgeous. It is one of the best animations in any animation history. Just some of the visuals they do when they pan out to the land of the dead and you just see all the colorful houses stacked on top of each other. It's just amazing what we're able to do now with the computers that we weren't quite able to do back 20 years ago. Not even close. Great soundtrack. Just every song is really good. Also, I like how it is completely based on a different culture, but they also did a really good job with doing the other culture. It's not like they didn't really go too far crazy.
Like stereotypes.
Yeah, it's not stereotyped. It's just like you actually do kind of get to learn about how this culture does work and what Day of the Dead does mean to them. It's great story, hilarious, decent twist villain. Also, spoiler alert for all the movies, I would assume.
Yes.
So, but great twist villain. It's just all over. Just a great movie. And that's pretty much it. It's a great one. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. You will not regret it.
And I think it goes without saying, obviously these are our favorites. So if you haven't seen them and you have Disney Plus, you can watch any of these.
Yeah.
And we highly recommend it. And also, disclaimer before I go with mine, we have not seen each other's lists at all.
Nope.
I honestly didn't expect Coco to be one of your top 10 Disney movies.
I didn't either until I wrote 20 of them down and then had to narrow it down from there.
That's what I did. I just went through on Google and was like, what are all the Disney shows? What are all the Disney shows that were in the 2000s? And then just wrote them all down, the ones that I liked. I was honestly surprised with how selective the Disney Channel shows that we liked were. Because I was thinking, we're huge Disney Channel fans and everything. And then I was looking through the list and I was like, well, we didn't really like that one. We didn't really like that. Like, we've been creatures of habit since the beginning. But I'll start with one of my favorite movies as well. Mm-hmm. And coming in at number 5 is The Lion King. But the whole Lion King trilogy. So the first Lion King came out.
Okay, hang on. So we did top 5 movies, and you already went with 3 and 1.
Well, to be fair, Lion King 2 wasn't that good, but Lion King 1.5 honestly competes with Lion King.
It's a completely different movie, but it's very funny.
It's hilarious. So, I guess disclaimer that almost all of my top 5 movies are actually like trilogies.
I did not do that. I had to. If I had to.
You told me I could do it.
I don't remember saying anything.
The High School Musical. I said High School Musical can count as one movie, but that goes for other ones as well. Mm-hmm. That gives away one of my movies, but
we already knew that.
Yeah, I think we all know. But Lion King 1 came out in 1994. Lion King 2 came out in 1998. The year I was born. And Lion King 1.5 came out in 2004. So I love musicals, and so the fact that all of those movies had awesome soundtracks was just gold for me, especially as a child, because I got to sing and perform all of them.
And that's what your parents wanted.
Exactly. I also think the plot line is really engaging. Especially for a children's movie, it's a little dark, honestly.
It's a great plot line, but it's just Hamlet with lions.
I'm cool with that. That's fine. And there were a lot of teachable moments, which I really like in children's movies that also adults can relate to. Like, I could watch The Lion King, and I don't have the childlike brain that Nick has in the most beautiful, wonderful way. Right. I don't have that same type of thing where I'm like basically watching it as a child. I'm watching it as a 22-year-old, and I can still appreciate all of the lessons that it has. And the characters made Lauren and I laugh so much, especially Lion King 1.5. We would put that on in the car because we leased an Escalade when we were younger, and it had a DVD player in it, and so we would turn it on, and we would be dying laughing. I love at the beginning in The Lion King 1.5 where it's them just watching Lion King.
Yeah,
it's very
the whole
creative.
Movie, basically.
It's very creative. I like how they stop it in the middle of the viewing and everything, and they have funny little commentary.
Well, it's a great movie. It's one of the movies that Rebecca and I watched a whole bunch, for a month.
I saw this thing on Instagram where it was this little girl, the mom had posted her birthday cake, and it was the death scene of Mufasa. And that was the cake. I actually saw that. And it was my daughter asked me to get her a Lion King cake, but she wanted specifically the death scene so that all the children were too sad to eat the cake, and it would only be hers.
Kid's a genius.
So funny. That was a scarring one, and Scar freaked me out as a little kid. Honestly, freaks me out as an adult.
Scar's kind of scary.
I still get kind of tingles though. I'm like, oh no, he's gonna get us. Because as a child, I thought that the tiger was living in the basement anyways.
Yeah.
So, in the closet, ready to kill me.
Yes.
Well, what's your number 9?
My number 9, you love this movie. I don't know if it's on your list or not, but Emperor's New Groove, released in 2000.
I love that movie.
It is hilarious. It is some of the dumbest humor you can possibly imagine. The entire plot makes 0 sense at all. I'm pretty sure when they wrote it, they just walked in drunk and just, this is what came out. And they were like, yeah, this should work. It has some of the most quotable lines for me that don't make any real sense. Like, he's a llama? He's supposed to be dead.
You threw off my groove.
It's just pull the lever, Kronk. It's so good. It is, what?
I saw a front door mat that just says pull the lever, Kronk, and I feel like we should get it for our future home. That's hilarious.
It's a great one. It truly just makes no sense either. And I think that's part of the reason just why I love it so much. Because not many movies have the loosest plot ever. The fact that the entire thing is like King, he just gets turned into a llama. That's the whole plot. Well, that should work. We can make an 1.5-hour movie from this.
Well, my number 4, or actually, I'll go over to number 5 on this shows, is Boy Meets World. And
it's not a Disney show.
Yes, it was.
It's ABC.
No, Disney owns it, so it's on. I put that. Okay, fine. I'll take one off my other list. I don't want to, actually. I'm doing Boy Meets World anyways.
Disclaimer from me, I did not do that. I went with Disney created, not Disney owned.
Well,
I thought
it was ABC owned, but then I was looking and it said Disney.
Yeah, Disney bought the rights to it.
Well, I'm sorry. I've already made a mistake.
There is no Star Wars on my list just for the future, because Disney did not make Star Wars. But Disney does own it. But why do you love Boy Meets World so much?
It came out in 1993. And I found this show actually as a high schooler. And I just had seen reruns of it on TV. And I was like, oh, this kind of looks lame and such a 90s show. But I'll watch it and see what it's about. And I absolutely love that show. And it has some insane character development. All of the characters have they go through such a journey, and I love that it's only 7 seasons?
Yeah.
8?
7.
And it goes from them being in 5th grade all the way to college.
And married.
I mean, they got married in college.
Yeah, but still.
Yes. But I love how you get to go through basically their whole life journey in only 7 seasons, but it feels like you've gone through their whole life. Yeah. It doesn't feel like they rushed through important parts of growing up.
Every year was very important.
Yeah. And I just loved how all of the characters grew over time, and I also loved the relationships in the show, especially Corey and Topanga. I love a good love story. And I did even though I hated that, spoiler alert, they broke up for certain periods. Even though, as I pointed out in last week's episode, those types of things bother me in terms of true love.
Well, and at least they did it well.
Yeah, they did. And they were naive and young and everything, but I really enjoy that show. And I'm sorry it's not Disney.
It's okay. Alright, my next one.
Yeah.
At number 8, it's Meet the Robinsons, released in 2007. I don't know, it's kind of a slower movie, but it's super creative characters. Just anything that they wanted to do, because it's the future. So, who knows what's going to happen in the future? Got singing frogs, weird pizza man, old man who's married to a puppet. Very, very bizarre one. One of the biggest reasons, though, why it's on this list is it's completely based on my favorite quote from Walt Disney, which is "Keep moving forward," where you just don't give up. Just keep going. You might fail sometimes, but it's okay. Get back up. Just keep going. And it also has the T-Rex scene where it just I have a big head and little arms. I'm not so sure how well this plan was thought through. Master is the greatest thing. My family quotes that all the time for no reason. It's so good.
I think that the goal for me is to see if I've seen all of the movies on your top 10. So far, we're good.
I think you have. No, you might not have. I think there might be one that you missed.
We'll have to watch it.
But it's a great Meet the Robinson. It's a slower paced movie. But
I like that movie.
It's a really, really great movie.
Well, coming in at number 4, I don't know if ABC originally owned it or not. The Parent Trap. They own the first one, so I think they own the second one.
The first one, they own it.
It's The Parent Trap from 1998 with Lindsay Lohan. I have never watched the first one, and I don't care if it's the most wonderful movie on earth. I have no interest in watching the original. I don't. So don't tell me to watch it. I love that movie.
I don't know what
they do the handshake. Have you not seen Parent Trap?
I've seen it like 10 times. I just didn't know what your noises were.
That's the song that they play during the handshake.
I'm sorry, I didn't know what song they played during the handshake of the Parent Trap.
Silly boy. I love the sister vibe in that movie because it shows how much you can just hate each other, but that you actually love each other like the most.
Yeah.
And Lauren and I loved watching that movie together. Basically, all of these are just because Lauren and I liked watching it together, and it makes me happy. I love you, Lauren. It's also hilarious. Like especially in the beginning, the tricks that they play on each other are so in depth and so creative, and the tricks that they play on their parents. That's the whole thing. They make their parents think that they're the opposite child so that they can meet the other parent. And the tricks they play on Meredith, the evil stepmom, soon to be stepmom. And I just love the characters. Lindsay Lohan is a phenomenal actress.
Yeah, well, was.
Yeah, now I don't think she does anything.
Wow. After what she went through.
Yeah. But it blew my mind as a child that it was the same person playing both things.
Oh, yes.
I couldn't comprehend it. I was like, that's not possible. They can't do that. She must have a twin.
Yes, that must be the case.
Or I thought some magic, because obviously, as we've talked about, I very much believed in magic. Sorry, my mind just went to a joke that Aunt Patty made. A side note, we were talking to Aunt Patty when we were in the car, and she said, if Mom gave Lauren away at Sam's Club, how would you have been able to turn the fireplace on? You have to watch our Childhood Stories episode to understand what we're talking about. But I just love that movie. I think that it was so well done. I love the love stories in it. All of mine actually end up as love stories.
Yeah.
What's your next one?
My next one is Brave, released in 2012. It's a great... What? What's your...
That one was so.
Yeah, but you don't like it like I do. But it's a great movie that is all about how you should stick with your family. And that's the main plot, pretty much, after all the bear stuff. But just that you can always depend on your family, and they will always be there, and you should not disown them and go off on your own, because then you get turned into a bear forever and want to murder people. but
which is a bummer.
it's a little bit of a bummer. But it is a really great movie. It has a great, like, sort of, where it doesn't really have a villain, but you also know that there's something coming. Because there's not really a main bad guy, but you know that there's a big bear because they showed it at the very beginning, and it, like, I want to say it ate the dad's leg. So you know it's coming. You know that it's out there, but it's not part of the movie until the very end, and you don't know what it is. Also, the entire wood carver scene, another favorite of the Judds, where we'll just all of a sudden be like, wood carver! It's the best. That's when the witch is pretending that she's not a witch. It's a great scene. We laugh at it all the time.
Of course you do.
Watching the mom learn how to become a bear, but in the very beginning, as she's using a knife and fork she found in the woods somehow, trying to cut up a blueberry that is poisonous. It's the best. It's hilarious watching it. Wasn't your favorite though?
No. Well, my next show is in 2003. That's So Raven. I now that I look back, I really do like that it was a diverse cast, but I think that subconsciously it was a good way of just showing that people are people. It doesn't matter what background or race or ethnicity or religion they are. Everyone's just a person, and you should treat everyone like your best friend. Mm-hmm. And I think that was a wonderful thing to see back in 2003 as a child.
Yeah.
Because it was teaching us from the very beginning, like, we weren't like, oh, she's different. It was like, oh, she has cool style and she's a psychic. Like, woohoo! That's one of the things I liked a lot about it, was that she was a psychic. Elementary school Brooke was like, hold on, I'm having a vision.
Yeah. Surprised you don't do that right now.
I thought that was really unique.
Yeah.
For, like, Disney at the time, there wasn't a lot of, magic or some different type of reality besides what actually happens.
Yeah.
It was all very much like real life, and I liked that she was magical in some way. Obviously. I love magic. My zipper got caught. She was also, I figured out that this was the same year that the Cheetah Girls started, was the same year that That's So Raven started. Oh. So I was obsessed. I was like, oh my gosh, one of the Cheetah Girls is in a show, and I love that I got to watch her on the show, and that I got to watch the girl I loved on the show on the Cheetah Girls. So that was so cool, and I love the friendships that they had in that show. I really liked Corey in the House when that was kind of like a spinoff. Mm-hmm. I really enjoyed that show. I thought that was a really cute one and everything. And that one is, That's So Raven is one of the shows that popped up in Vine and Lauren's favorite Christmas DVD set. And that's one of the best episodes of That's So Raven, when she was going to take her Christmas present early and then rewound time. Oh. Well, no, the chubby guy did. He was posing as Santa Claus.
Oh, okay. I don't know what you're talking about.
What's your next one?
My next one for number 6 is Inside Out, released in 2015. One of the more creative ideas Pixar has done, where just let's take a look at inside someone's head and we'll base an entire movie on that. But it's just the things they were able to come up with inside your mind that somehow made sense. Like the train of thought going in and out, and sometimes it crashes, and that's why you don't have it anymore. All the magical islands that you have in your brain based on everything you like. It's also a great one in that the main, or what you get to, is that it's okay to be sad. You do not have to be happy all the time. Joy is part of the emotions, but it's one of 5, and you need the other emotions to become a normal, stable human being. You cannot live just trying to always be happy. And it's not a thing a lot of movies get at.
Especially not Disney.
No.
The whole motive of Disney is be happy.
Disney's very happy. But
that was a really good movie.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when we were first dating, you were like, you have to watch this movie, it's so good.
It's so good.
And I think I got it at Redbox or something.
Did you? I think you watched it at my house.
I thought I did too, I don't know.
You watched it at my house. I wasn't there, I was working.
Oh yeah, I watched it with your mom.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Mom.
Not your mom.
Not your mom. My mom. Let's see. So number 3 for favorite movies is The Emperor's New Groove.
I knew it was on your list. I just didn't know where.
Made in 2000, your birth year.
Mm-hmm.
I also love that movie. It's so funny. Did it come in the same ranking as yours did?
Oh, so it was number 9 for me?
Oh, no. No.
And it's 3 for you?
Well, it's, I guess, technically 8.
No, that's 3.
I love that it teaches you a really good lesson. That you should be nice to people no matter what their circumstances, that your life can change at any minute, so you need to be grateful for what you have.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be a decent human being. I love Kronk. I think he's one of my favorite characters in the whole thing. I love the scene where they're in the restaurant and he's cooking and Cusco are coming in and he's like, hold the cheese. No, get the cheese. Okay, double on right. All right. You need to tell me what you want. Make up your mind. It's so hilarious. That's one of my other points. It is one of the funniest Disney movies I think I've ever watched.
Yeah, it's so funny.
And my third one, I also quote this movie a lot. Like I said, my favorite one is You Threw Off My Groove. I have a sticker that's on one of my water bottles that says that. I think that this movie is so hilarious. And I like how at the end, Yzma has to be with the chipmunk people. Like the chipmunk talkers.
The squeakers.
Yeah. And she has to be like, squeak, squeaky.
That's such a good movie.
We need to watch that soon.
Mm-hmm.
What's your next one?
Well, yeah. Next one at number 5 is The Incredibles, released in 2004.
Such a good movie.
It's such a good movie.
That's now my honorable mentions.
Oh, okay. One, as a guy, superheroes are fun. So that's one thing. And you always love seeing a good superhero story. And it is great. The fact that the whole point is that superheroes are banned from the world because they don't want them anymore. They were doing too many things. And it was easier to just not have them. The villain Syndrome is one of the best villains of almost all time. He's super creative. The fact that he just wanted to be all he wanted to ever do was be Mr. Incredible's sidekick, and he said no. So he became a mad scientist and tried to take over the entire world. As you do when someone rejects you, you try to kill them.
It sounds like he needs emotional help.
Probably. But incredibly creative. All the characters are funny. All the powers are very interesting.
No capes.
That's the best part. Edna.
Edna.
The whole Edna thing is the best. And the fact that
Darling.
Syndrome died from wearing a cape. But Edna said no. Well, there's a theory that maybe Edna made his costume
so that he would die?
So that he would die eventually. It might happen. She might have sent something in him.
I like Jack at the end, how he turns into fire and steel and a demon.
Just Jack. I mean, it's also that every name goes with their power. It's great.
Yes.
A great movie.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
You should watch it. Number 3 on shows is Wizards of Waverly Place, released in 2007. I, to this day, love Selena Gomez and think she is very talented as both an actress and a singer. I've seen her in concert as well. That was cool. The magic in the show. I mean, that's what the whole show is about. Obviously, I love magic. That's a very common theme here. And I think that she was such a funny character. Like, I'm not a sassy, defiant child or adult in any way.
Nope.
But I totally admired how sassy and, like, wild she was.
Yeah.
I was like, that would probably be really cool to be someday, but I probably won't. Because I would get in trouble. But I just loved all the mischief she got in and how, oh my gosh, that she ended up being the family wizard because she was actually the best. I loved the sibling relationship that they all had. And I loved all of the relationships in the show. I loved her and Mason together. I loved Justin and Juliet, how she was a vampire. And that was a girl vampire. You said all of them were boy vampires. A few weeks ago, you were like, what's up with girls and vampires?
No.
Yes, you did.
I was questioning why girls were attracted to vampires.
See, that one's a girl vampire.
Okay. And I find no attraction to her.
She's from Good Luck Charlie.
I'm aware who she is, but as a vampire, it doesn't, like, add anything. Girls are like, oh, vampire. So sexy.
Not for me. And I just thought that was a really well done show. I've watched it as an adult again. It definitely has some stupid parts.
Every Disney Channel show
does. But I still really like it. I like the movies that they did with that show. It's just all around a really good one.
And
what?
I just like how much you love children's shows.
Yeah.
It's great.
I know.
And for me, for number 4, it's Up, released in 2009. One of the saddest starts to a movie ever. I don't think it can get much sadder than Up. If you want a good cry, just turn on the first 5 minutes. Then you're good. You don't have to watch the rest. But really great character development, especially for Carl, throughout the whole journey of all he wants to do is live alone and then go out and live by a waterfall by himself.
That's one that we need to watch soon together because I think I've only seen it once.
We will have to watch it soon. But the fact that his whole goal is to just live alone, but after Russell needs his badge for his wilderness explorer, which would only mean helping him cross, like, the street. That's all he really needs to do. But Carl says no, and then Russell tags along on his great balloon journey, and then they form a bond just like a grandpa and grandson, basically.
I like the dog in that movie.
Doug is hilarious. It's such a well done version of what a dog probably would be like if he could speak.
Squirrel.
Of just always being distracted, but always happy. Never really sad. And it's just such a great movie. Having the ending scene of being just Carl and Russell just hanging out. He didn't need his house anymore. He didn't need his actual possessions because he had Russell now, and he was all good. I know, it's so cute. And Doug's there, because of course. Mm-hmm.
Number 2 for movies, the Cheetah Girls franchise. In 2003, the first movie was released. 2006, the second, and 2008, the third. And they were all so good, except the first one, if you rewatch it as an adult, is actual crap. I rewatched that in college my sophomore year, and I was like, hate that I made my mom sit through this. Like, so many times. It was so bad. It almost ruined it for me, but as you can see, it didn't.
Apparently not. Still got number 2.
It's really good. So, obviously, I think we're seeing a theme. I love musicals. And the music is phenomenal in all of the movies. Like, even though the first one was trash, the songs in the first one are still gold. Mm-hmm. And the second one, I think, has my favorite ones. The Amigas, Cheetahs, Friends for Life.
Don't know.
And each other, and that's what keeps us tight. Mm-hmm. You don't? Mm-mm.
No, I have no idea.
The third one, they go to India.
Oh.
Right on an elephant.
That's great.
I know, right? Second one, they go to Barcelona.
Mm.
First one, they're in New York.
Yes.
Our friend group in elementary school was obsessed with the Cheetah Girls. I have all my cheetah stuff on today. I have my cheetah dress and my cheetah scrunchie, my wild hair, like all the Cheetah Girls had back then. Mm-hmm. I had so much cheetah apparel, and I remember, so at Emmanuel on the old playground, which was far superior to the one they have now. Like, it doesn't compare. I wish you got to see the old playground. It was so good. There was, like, a ramp that you had to go to get onto the playground. Oh. And at the end of the ramp, we all had, in the winter, button-up jackets that were almost matching. That were cheetah print. And we would go 1, 2, 3, bam! And unbutton them and release them to the playground. And we would go in the Barristan and perform American Idol.
That's good.
But we reenacted the Cheetah Girls so many times. I always wanted to be, now I'm blanking on her name. Raven. That's our Raven. But my elementary school friend Elizabeth always wanted to be her because she was actually the star. We competed for being the star in everything as children. But it was the best, and that was one of the first concerts I ever went to was Hannah Montana, Cheetah Girls, and Everlife. Hannah Montana was just beginning when I went to that concert, so she wasn't huge at that point. But the Cheetah Girls were like the main event. And I was up there singing all of them, and I was in my cheetah outfit. We all had these decorative cheetah shirts on. We really went all out. That was when Shelby got her wrist stuck in the seat during Hannah Montana's performance and was freaking out, and I had to help her out of that. So I missed a lot of Hannah Montana's performance. But then we got to touch her hand after the concert, and then we passed the Cheetah Girls bus on the way home and had them honk for us, and they waved, and I was like, life complete, thank you. I loved the like girl power in that movie. And all the ups and downs that they go through as friends, because it's so accurate for girl friendships.
Yeah.
Because they like break up each movie.
You couldn't do that with a group of guys, really.
No, if you were done, you're done.
No, we just wouldn't be done.
And I still follow the Cheetah Girls to this day. I follow all of them on Instagram, but Adrienne Butler.
I don't know what you said.
No, you know what I'm talking about.
I have no idea who Adrienne is.
Yes, you do. I watch her YouTube videos.
Oh, that one, I think. I don't know.
And she is married now to Israel Houghton, who's the gospel singer. Okay. Anyways, I still follow her. And I love that all of them are still proud that they were in the Cheetah Girls. Like, she's still like, I'm a Cheetah Girl for life. I know that gave me my start, and I'll never forget that. Because I feel like so many Disney stars are like, Disney was the worst time of my life, and I'm like, that ruins it as an adult for me. That, like, you felt like you were being held captive. I like that they are really thankful for where they came from, and still thankful for those fans. Yeah. And I'm one of them. When Adrienne Bylund started Adrienne Bylund, that's her maiden name, Adrienne Houghton, started her YouTube channel, All Things Adrienne, she like said like comment and something like that. It was like her first video. And I commented and she liked my comment. I still have that screenshot. I thought I was going to pass out. I know it probably wasn't even her, but I still like that. What's your next?
My next one? This is probably the weirdest movie on my top 10 list.
I have not seen this one.
But number 3 is the 2011 version of Winnie the Pooh. I don't know why. I just find this movie so funny because it's totally made for like it's Winnie the Pooh but made for like the people who grew up with Winnie the Pooh. So it's not really made completely for children. The one scene that is the best scene ever is when they're trapped in a hole and the only one out of the hole is Piglet, who has a rope, and Rabbit wants him to throw the rope down. And so Piglet counts the people up and then slowly cuts the rope into 6 different pieces. And then the knot scene happens where Rabbit is like, Piglet, can you not? And he's like, I cannot not. Wait, you can not? Or you can't not? And he's like, I cannot not. It's the greatest thing. The entire plot based on the whole fact that they just can't read. Because Christopher Robin just gave them a letter that said he was gone and he'll be back soon. But Owl, being the
wise one,
well, he thinks he's wise, but he's just stupid. Reads it as he was basically kidnapped by the Baxon, which is just Baxoon, but put together.
By the Baxon.
By the Baxon. So they had to go out on a journey to try to find Christopher Robin, who was in no danger at all, but they decided in their head that it was this incredibly evil monster that they had to do, that anything that ever happened in the world wrong was its fault, basically. If you lost a sock, it was because of him. If you slept through your alarm, it's because of the Baxon.
Oh, that's so
That's
cute.
hilarious. It's a great little... It's also the shortest movie, probably, on all this, because it is just over an hour long. But it's hilarious. I highly recommend it. It's so fun.
Coming in at number 2 on my TV shows is The Sweet Life. It's not a franchise because there are only 2 things with The Sweet Life.
It's a franchise.
Oh, you think so?
It's close enough.
Okay. Because I like The Sweet Life of Zac and Cody and Sweet Life on Deck.
Mm-hmm.
But Sweet Life of Zac and Cody started in 2005, and Sweet Life on Deck started in 2008. They were so cute. You did not have 2 boys, blonde boys with the 2000s haircut that were so cute. Like, as a girl, you were like, okay, so I'm marrying one of them for sure. It's decided.
It's decided.
You have a vibe of that with your long hair right now.
So I have to get rid of it.
Oh no. But they were really cute. And they were brothers, which was such a cool thing because you didn't see many shows about brothers. You saw some about sisters, like a lot of the things that I've already said, like, you know, The Parent Trap and The Cheetah Girls were all about sisters or girl friends. This was a show that you could watch about boys as a girl and still get it. Mm-hmm. You weren't like, oh, they're just doing boy things, like stupid boys. You're like, those are dope boys. And, you know, as a younger girl, I was never like, I liked boys, but I was never boy crazy. So I was just like, even if they didn't want to date me, I'd be their friend. I'd hang out with them, for sure. Yeah. Also, another one, the Troublemakers. I don't know, maybe it was my good girl thing that I loved the Troublemaker children on all of the shows. They were little troublemakers, but they always had a good heart about it.
Yeah.
And they always loved each other, which I thought was really cute. And I liked how on The Sweet Life on Deck that all of the characters kind of transferred over. Like, even though Maddie, who is Ashley Tisdale, wasn't on the ship, she came on a couple episodes during the show and like made a little cameo of it, and got to tell Zac that he didn't have to wait for her, because he always liked her.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved Bailey and Cody's relationship. Oh, the last episode where they graduate college, bawling. I watched this a few months ago when a year ago now, when Disney Plus came out. I watched the whole thing again, bawling. On that last episode, when London tells Mr. Mosby, he's like, London, if you ever need anything, I'm always here for you. And she's like, I know, I'll be okay. And then he walks away, and she calls him, and he's like, London, what's the matter? She's like, I'm gonna miss you. And they cry and hug. Oh, I'm almost crying now thinking about it. It's so good. It's so good. Mm-hmm. I just love it. I loved how they were on a boat, which was so creative for a show to take place on a cruise ship. What?
Yeah, definitely different.
And they lived in a hotel, which was so creative for the time. And they had a single mom. And that's another. Sweet Life is also one of the ones that was in the Disney Christmas DVD. It's a good one.
Mm-hmm. It is good.
Number 2.
All right, my number 2 is Tangled, released in 2010.
I've seen that.
You've seen that one?
Yeah.
I know. But it is, besides Tarzan, which didn't make the list because I kind of find the rest of the movie boring, it has one of the best soundtracks in all of Disney history. Just maybe even movie history. Because it's so good. Every single song is, perfect. It's a very creative story, and Rapunzel as well, because we just decided, give her magical powers. This is why she's held captive. Amazing character growth with all the characters, mostly Rapunzel and Finn, Ryder, of course, because he totally starts out as not wanting to do anything with her, wanting to be alone. All he cares about is money and himself, and then as the movie goes on, he learns that he does need this person and needs other people in his life as well. Rapunzel just deciding that, just all she wants to do is go see what the lanterns are about, and slowly realizing that she is a stolen princess who was kidnapped.
That's so disappointing.
Mm-hmm. But it's a great movie. So many funny parts. It's just so good.
It is a very good one. Man, this is going to be a passionate one. Mm-hmm. Ringing in at number 1 is High School Musical franchise. High School Musical was released in 2006, the second one in 2007, and the third one in 2008. The soundtracks in all of these movies is superior to any soundtracks. They're all good. I still know I think, honestly, the third one has the best soundtracks. I have a wedding playlist prepared for us, and there are 2 songs from High School Musical 3 that will be played at our wedding. My mom hates Vanessa Hudgens' voice. She thinks it's too high. It is too high. I cannot match the octave. I am a very alto singer, but I love Right Here, Right Now, and Can I Have This Dance will make you want to fall in love. They're so good. The amount of times I've sang Can I Have This Dance to Nick out of nowhere are numerous. Again, I love a good musical. I love it. I love Zac Efron. Another siren. 2 weeks in a row. Man. Zac Efron could have had my babies. When I say I was a fangirl of all the High School Musical franchise, but specifically Zac Efron, Zac and Cody had nothing on him. I had the Zac Efron lunchbox. Well, I'm sorry, Troy Bolton lunchbox. The Troy Bolton t-shirt that said Troy and just had his face on it. It was so creepy. And I had earrings with Troy's face on them. I had notebooks backpacks. I had everything that you could have of High School Musical. I specifically remember first time I watched each of those movies. The first time I ever watched High School Musical was when it was premiering on Disney Channel. I was in 2nd grade, and I was sleeping over at Carly Bryant's house. And we sat down to watch that movie, and I was bawling. I was like, this is true love. Like,
yes.
The basketball guy turned out to be a nerd and wanted to I was screaming at the TV when he was betraying her. Then I had a watch party at my house for High School Musical 2. We had it downstairs. That was when my aunt had moved out for that short stint. And we had a watch party down there. All of anyone who was anyone, not Emmanuel, was there. And we all had our Troy merch on. There were snacks. It was a whole thing. I remember crying at the TV when Gabriella sang I Gotta Go My Own Way and was leaving the pool. I was like, what are you thinking? This is Troy Bolton. I know he's been such a jerk, but we really think that you can work it out.
School Musical. Movies that did the same plot.
Were on point in that movie.
Yes.
And then High School Musical 3, maybe I don't remember the first time I watched that because it wasn't as publicized. I don't think it actually aired on Disney Channel. I think that one was the first one to air in a movie theater, and that's why I didn't see it immediately. That just didn't have as much hype to it, but I would argue it's I think it's the best one. And it's that scene where they're kissing in the rain when he prom-poses to her would just, it'll get you in the mood. I'll tell you that. It's such a good one. I love the love story. I think that that's why all of us that grew up in the early 2000s have unrealistic expectations about love. Was Gabriella and Troy. They broke up every single movie.
They did the same plot 3 times.
And they were all fantastic. All done very well. Anyways, if you haven't seen all 3 of them, get on Disney Plus. I'm fine if you pause this podcast. Definitely come back to it to watch the end. But pause the podcast, watch all 3, come back, tell me what you think. Drop it in the comments. Mm-hmm. Anyways, your number 1.
My number 1, I know it's a surprise, but it is Lilo and Stitch, released in 2002.
I have noticed. I don't know if you can see his cup. I think you have it turned where no one can see it. Stitch. I asked him if we wanted to get down the Stitch shot glasses. We have 7 Stitch things.
We have a whole bunch of 7. I got 40 stuffed animals of Stitch.
Oh, we should have put one out here for the podcast.
A whole bunch of Stitch. But, fun fact, this is also Heather's favorite movie.
I didn't know that.
Yes. But I have the character. She has Lilo, but I have Stitch. She can't take that. But it's just such a great not a feel-good movie, but it's such a great, story. And you don't see many movies where you walk in and both parents are dead. And it's just the older sister taking care of the younger sister. And it deals with real problems. A kid having to go to an orphanage due to lack of parenting. That's the whole main plot, is that Bubbles is about going to take Lilo away because she can't take care of her.
That's what I said Molly should be for Halloween.
Bubbles?
No, Stitch. She'd be the best Stitch.
Oh, she would be cute.
Oh, 100% we're doing it.
But just that you don't, especially in Disney movies, you're not really getting many big real life problems as a child getting taken away to an orphanage.
That's the serious one.
Stitch is hilarious and awesome. He's so cute. He has so many different weird catchphrases. He's also so smart, way smarter than what you would think when you think of Stitch.
What are your favorite catchphrases?
I'm cute and fluffy.
Say hello to my little friends.
The whole Pleakley and Jumba are some of the best side characters in any movie. The whole fact that Pleakley is only along because he believes that mosquitoes are an endangered species on Earth, and he has to come and protect the mosquitoes because clearly we have too few and we must save them.
I love when Lulo's like, I'm sorry I pulled your hair.
I'm sorry I pulled your hair and
you.
punch you and bit you.
And when she's like, I was late because I had to go get, I ran out of peanut butter and we couldn't give, what is it?
Pudge.
Pudge tuna. Do you know what tuna is? It's fish. I can't give Pudge tuna.
Oh, but that line actually has a deeper meaning because her parents were killed in a rainstorm. So she believes that she needs to feed Pudge to control the weather. Because otherwise she doesn't know what bad stuff might happen.
That's so sad and cute.
It is very sad and cute. She might not have fed Pudge that day. She might think it's her fault. She might have given Pudge tuna. You pointed at my paper and I don't know why.
David and Nani.
Oh, yeah. Just their whole... It's just fun to see a teenage love story, but also like a realistic love story.
Yeah.
It's not just like, I love you too. It's David being awkward for the entire movie.
And she's like, I have adult responsibilities.
Trying to be a parent / sister. It's just... Also, very few movies have animated characters to have realistic proportions, and this is one of the few.
Well, ringing in at number 1 with my Hannah Montana drawing, I would argue it's one of the best. Hannah Montana, released in 2006, is the most superior show of Disney.
Superior show.
I remember when commercials came out for that show, I was like, are they doing some type of sorcery over at Disney? Like, I 100% thought that they were 2 different people. I don't know why I was that stupid, but I was like, so they have a brunette and they have a blonde. Yeah. And they're a double life. I was like, they are a double life. They're sisters or something.
Okay.
Or friends. And then I watched it and I was like, oh, that's the same person? How did they do that? It was such a good show. I loved all the songs. Like, the Hannah Montana songs still ring true to this day. Yeah. The Hannah Montana movie. I also had all the Hannah Montana merch. My first real debut had done, just amateur performances at the talent shows before Elizabeth and I performed Best of Both Worlds in 2006. I had bangs and blonde hair down to my butt, and Elizabeth was brunette. And so we performed Best of Both Worlds, had Lauren and her friends be like our fans, rush the stage. We had a full performance set. Also to mention, I did a High School Musical talent show as well to Fabulous. I lost out on the role as Sharpay. We had a whole audition process. But we did a performance for that too. But I love in Hannah Montana all the relationships that happen, all the friendships, and all of the romantic relationships in that show as well. It was like a realistic version of Friends too. You got to see sometimes you're really pissed off at your friends and they suck. Yeah. And then other times you have to keep their secrets even though you don't want to. Mm-hmm. It was just a really good show. And she was hilarious. There were so many funny little things. I love that Dolly Parton is her actual godmother. And in the show they were just like, right her in. And that she actually acted with her dad. And she's been wishy-washy on if she really liked being on Disney. I don't think she liked being on Disney. I think that she liked the fame that Hannah Montana gave her. I have mixed feelings about Miley Cyrus now, which is really a bummer. But yeah, it's really great. And I just wanted to do a quick, very rapid-fire honorable mentions. You throw some in too if you need to. Honorable mentions for movies are Camp Rock, all of them. Princess Diaries, all of them. Pitch Perfect, all of them except the third one, very much. Well, no, just the first one. Monsters, Inc. I loved that movie.
That's an honorable mention for me.
Beauty and the Beast, not the animated one, the real live action one.
The animated one is on my honorable mentions.
I like the animated one, but the live action one is just so good.
I also, you don't like this movie at all, but I find it
WALL-E.
good. WALL-E.
Oh, the worst. Shelby, you'll understand. We hated that movie. Beauty and the Beast, they have the soundtrack to Tale as Old as Time that I will cry to every time I hear it. Mm-hmm. Finding Nemo.
That's on mine as well.
Love it. And the Christmas special DVD that I've pointed out 17,000 times. Lauren and I watch every Christmas season. And it's perfect. It has Hannah Montana. No, wait. It doesn't have Hannah Montana. That was before Hannah Montana. That's how old it is. Sweet Life of Zac and Cody. That's a Raven. Even Stevens. That was my booby what? Lauren and I thought that was hilarious because it said booby. It was his Bubby Rose. And it was even Stevens was like a Jewish. It was Hanukkah, which was really cool to see as a child too. You're like, oh, it's a Christmas episode, but it's not Christmas, it's Hanukkah. Yeah. And it had Kim Possible and Lizzie McGuire. And mentioning those, on honorable mentions on TV shows, I have Kim Possible, Lizzie McGuire, Shake It Up. Brittany and I, at an embarrassingly older age, did performances. In like 2012. It probably was. I was probably in high school when we were doing that. But we would send in, they had those contests. If you made up a dance to the specific song, you could win. I don't even remember what you won. We spent like weeks rehearsing and filming and everything. It was a real cutthroat process. Good Luck Charlie, I really liked.
That's a good one. It was released in 2010.
Okay, so at least I was in 7th grade.
You would have been 12 years old.
Okay, that's fair. And then Phineas and Ferb.
That one is good. I need to go rewatch that one.
I did. We watched that one, and I did like it.
That's funny.
I like that Ashley Tisdale from High School Musical was Candace on Phineas and Ferb. But that's it. I really feel like we need to have a Disney marathon now of all those movies. Yeah. I feel like we really need to sit. Do you want to watch one tonight?
Okay.
For dinner?
I don't care.
Not WALL-E.
I mean, that's not on the top 10. It didn't make it.
But we really appreciate you guys watching another episode. I had a lot of fun putting it together. I felt like I got to go down memory lane again.
Yeah, me too.
I feel like, obviously, I think the oldest show or movie on my list is 2008. Yep, it is.
That's the newest.
Or, I'm sorry, the newest, yes. The newest year that something was released.
Yeah, mine's 2017.
1994 is the oldest.
And mine is 2000.
Yikes. Well, I had a lot of fun, and I hope you guys had a lot of fun watching it. Mm-hmm. I know that our episodes are starting to get to where they're an hour long, and just wanted to kind of see where you guys are at on that. Do you prefer if we do like 30 to 40 minute episodes? Should we cut down? Do you like this length? Again, we really want to know what you guys want to see, so comment down below. And I am posting on my social when we release an episode, but if you want to not have to rely on me posting on Mondays that the episode is out, we drop episodes every Monday at 10 a.m. And you can just count on going on to our YouTube channel then. If you have a Gmail, you have a YouTube. Yeah. So even if you're not sure if you have a YouTube, you probably do if you have a Gmail. Yeah. So just go onto YouTube, hit the subscribe button, and hit the little bell that has notifications on it so that you'll get an update every time we post a new video. Mm-hmm. Subscribe, share. We want to have a huge little family that is all about Jed talking. Mm-hmm. And we hope to see you guys next week. Next week, I haven't decided if I'll be posting something yet because Nick is going to be gone.
I'll be here next week.
Oh, no, next week. I'm sorry.
It'll be 2 weeks from now.
2 weeks from now, it'll just be me. So honestly, tell me if you want me to do an episode by myself. If I get some... How about this? If I get some good recommendations on what I should talk about by myself and something that you guys actually want to see, I'll do an episode by myself. It'll probably be only like 30 or 40 minutes. It won't be in a whole hour. But Nick is going on vacation with his family to the Grand Canyon.
To Arizona.
Yeah. So he'll be gone and I'll be here. So let me know if you want something. Hope you guys are loving it and we'll see you guys next week. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.